Hello guys, sorry I didn't see the Fraps render, but today we're going to be playing Team Fortress 2. This is the first time I've done Fraps live in a long time. I usually do Camtasia voiceover except for my Minecraft videos. But, depending on how long actually the server's loaded pretty fast. But, today it's not really about gameplay, it's just about a topic. It's trending, and like I said I don't do this often, but this is a trending topic, and I figured I'd talk about it because I feel like some people were blowing it a little out of proportion. And I think you could guess what it is by now and by the title of this video, but it's about the zombie man in Miami. And I'm just going to give a couple of my viewpoints on it and my opinions on it, but we're going to wait for the server to load and I'll get back to you when it loads. Alright, back to the game. It took like a half hour to load, but then I paused it. But, and we'll just join the blue team and we'll pick our class. I usually always go scout. But, so as I was saying, the reason I'm not in on this whole thing is, number one, zombies, laggy. But zombies aren't supposed, like, when a zombie bites someone in the comic books and just everything, any way you look at zombies, what the fuck just happened? Alright, I'm not even going to get into that. But when they bite someone, they reanimate within 5 minutes, or they reanimate in general. The guy who got bit didn't reanimate, and it looks just like it's turning out to be bath salts caused it. And I know a lot of crazy people who are just like, oh, it's a cover-up for the government. And I'm like, even if it is a cover-up, it is probably the smart, like, I believe that it was bath salts, because I'll get to that in a minute, but even if it was a cover-up, it's probably the smartest thing they could do, or else people would be panicking through the streets. And I'm pretty sure the government could cover it up. But anyways, the reason why I think he was on bath salts is because the man's background is fucking atrocious. The guy's wife left him, got a restraining order, said he could snap. He was a cokehead, homeless, and, I mean, if you had all that done through your life and you had bath salts or whatever in you, which also what they were talking about, fuck, I'm dead. But what they were also talking about is, like, the effect it could have on your brain, the chemical reaction it could have on your brain. And I would honestly believe that more than the fact that zombies are walking the streets of Miami. And now you know, because of course, you know, this little incident happened. Every tiny fucking thing that happens in the world has to do with zombies. And that's the main thing that pisses me off. Like, this guy in New Jersey cut his intestines out and threw it at a cop. That does a fucking nut job. He doesn't have anything to do with zombies, but they're watching it closely now because someone fucking bit somebody in Miami. Also, there's been, like, now all of a sudden strange occurrences happen. Newsflash, people, strange occurrences happen every fucking day. I mean, I'm not trying to sound mad or something, but they do, and it's just people overreacting that fucking pisses me off. Like, you're free to your own beliefs, but at least have some valid points. Like, you know, like, there's some people who just say, like in my class today, in my science class, me and my friend Kevin, you know Kevin, but we were talking, and they're just like, zombies. And this one kid in our class, I mean, it's slow science, or not slow science, but for some reason my teacher last year was a bitch and put me in the slow science. But there's this kid, he's a really nice kid. He seems really smart too, I just don't think he puts himself forward in the work. So, these two fucking idiots are just like, oh, he ate someone's face off, that's all my argument's about, and then he said PCP. Like I said, the kid's smart, he knows what PCP is, and PCP makes you pretty much invincible, and that's pretty much what the drug does. And so he's making all these valid points, and then he's just like, he ate someone's face off, that's all I have to say, your argument's invalid. I'm like, dude, your fucking life is invalid, it's the worst argument ever. Haven't you ever heard of cannibals, which is another thing they get to? There's been so many murders in the past. So there's this one guy who kidnapped 17 people and ate them all, or like, not kidnapped them, but he ate 17 people in his lifetime. And there's other cannibal cases, but the reason why back then it wasn't blown out of proportion is because nowadays zombies are popular. Back then, when it happened in the 70s, I don't even think zombies were that popular, or they weren't invented yet. I'm not sure when Night of the Living Dead was made, but, because that's what started it all. George A. Romero started it all, and that's when it, you know, that's how it happened. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but still, I don't think they were popular enough for people to be running around saying zombies, zombies, it has to be. But nowadays, they're extremely popular, and they're people that want it to happen, which is probably the most stupidest thing to me. And, you don't know for sure until the autopsy comes up, but since this guy didn't turn, and since you know, there has been no other real outbreaks, no serious outbreaks, and I'm sorry I'm playing like shit, I'm too busy focusing on the talk, and I hope that's what you're listening to and not the gameplay. But, you know, I really do believe it was a bat salt. Now, don't get me wrong, this should be watched closely, not for the fact that it's to be a zombie outbreak, but the fact that there's a drug out there, whether it's bath salts, or they called it LSD, or bath salts gives you symptoms of LSD. It's kind of scary that a drug can fuck with your brain to the point of a chemical reaction that can make you running around like a zombie eating people. Or just have violent reactions. Not even just eating people, just being a violent man. You know, that's a scary-ass drug to think about. You know, like, that's not... it should still be... They should take it off the shelves. Because we can't have people, like, inhaling that and running around like fucking zombies and eating people. But... obviously, if it is a drug, it's not going to happen as often, but if it is a zombie attack, which I so highly disagree with, then, honestly, I disagree with it so much and think it's not going to happen so much that, honestly, if it does happen, the world will just shit anyways, and it should be fucking restarted. You know, that's my honest opinion. What the fuck? This guy won't die. There we go. But, yeah, and, you know, the world has gone to shit nowadays with all the kids with their super swag, but that's not what I want to talk about. I just want to say that anyone, you know, who thinks, my opinion is, I just don't fucking believe it at all. You know, like, there's so many cannibals out there, and this just seems like people are blowing it out of proportion. Because when was the last time we saw a cannibal crime in broad daylight that actually made it to the news, like main news, like CNN? And, you know, when the autopsy comes up and it says there's bath salts in them, obviously the case is going to be dropped, the fucking zombies, and, you know, bath salts were the cause of it. But that doesn't mean you should be like, oh, okay, the world isn't going to end. Obviously it's not going to end, but there's still going to be people out there, like drug addicts or drug dealers, who sell that shit, and people are going to be ingesting it. And now it doesn't have the same reaction on everybody, because everyone's different. Like on the shortstop, alright? So, this will be the end of the video, but... you know, it doesn't affect everybody the same way. It affects everybody differently, but the fact that someone could take that and that could happen to them is still scary, which is why they should recall it, because that's what I think it is. But this is the end of the video, guys. Remember to like, rate, and subscribe, and please comment your opinions on this, because anyone who watches this, I really want your opinions on it, just because I want to hear what you guys have to say, you know? It's a trending topic. I wouldn't say too big, but, yeah. This is the end, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe.